Right now, 10 million Americans are sitting in the direct path of a severe weather outbreak, and most of them have no idea what is about to hit. Tornadoes, giant hail the size of baseballs, damaging winds that can snap power lines like toothpicks. And here is the part that should grab your attention. This is not a one-day event. This is a 3-day siege stretching from Texas all the way to Pennsylvania. If you live anywhere east of the Rockies, you need the next 8 minutes of your life. Here is my promise to you. Stay with me, and I will give you the exact timing, hour by hour, for over 270 cities across the United States. You will know precisely when storms arrive in your area, when they peak, and when they finally move out. No guessing, no vague forecasts. Minute 5 is where I break down the full city-by-city timeline, so do not skip ahead. You will miss critical context that could save your life. But first, let me tell you why this setup is so terrifying to meteorologists. And I do not use that word lightly. Remember what happened in Michigan just days ago? A 2% probability, that is all it took, 2%. And an EF3 tornado ripped through communities, destroying homes, injuring families. 2% sounded like nothing. It was everything. Now tomorrow, parts of Illinois and Indiana are sitting at a 10% hatched probability for strong tornadoes. That is 5 times higher than Michigan. 5 times. Let that satisfy for a moment. Now here is where it gets even more unsettling. Drop a comment right now with your city and state. I will personally make sure you get targeted forecast information for your area. This matters because the threat zone is massive and the details change block by block. Let me walk you through exactly what is fueling this monster. Down near Baja, California, a massive low-pressure system is cranking moisture out of the Pacific, dragging it across Mexico and slamming it into the southern United States. At the same time, a dip in the jet stream is plunging cold air southward from Canada. When that cold air collides with record-breaking warmth surging up from the Gulf of Mexico, the atmosphere becomes a loaded weapon. And the warmth we are talking about is not normal March warmth. Springfield, Illinois, is expected to hit the 80s tomorrow. The 80s, in March. Meanwhile, Chicago is hovering around 30 to 40 degrees on the other side of the warm front. That is a 50-degree temperature difference across just a couple hundred miles. That kind of contrast does not just produce storms, it produces rotating supercells, the kind that drop tornadoes. But here's a twist most people are not talking about. The warm sector, the area where all that moist, unstable air sits, is abnormally wide and deep. Normally in setups like this, storms pop up 100 miles ahead of the cold front and fizzle because they run out of fuel. Not this time. The fuel extends hundreds of miles east. Every storm that forms tomorrow will have enormous energy to feed on. There is no safe buffer zone. Do not miss what comes next because the overnight threat is what keeps forecasters up at night. Literally. The most dangerous window opens late Tuesday afternoon. Between 4 p.m. and 7 p.m. Central Time, supercells will explode across central Illinois and northwest Indiana. Cities directly in the crosshairs include Peoria, Bloomington, Springfield, Joliet, and the southern suburbs of Chicago. Lafayette, Indiana, Jacksonville, Illinois, Quincy, Kirksville, Missouri, just north of St. Louis. The significant tornado parameter, which combines wind shear, instability, and moisture into a single number, is forecast to hit 8.5 around Peoria by 10 p.m. tomorrow. For reference, 5 is considered extremely high. 8.5 is off the charts for this time of year this far north. If a supercell locks onto that environment, it will have everything it needs to produce a violent tornado. EF2, EF3. Models are even suggesting EF4 is not out of the question. And now the part that makes this especially dangerous. These storms will intensify after dark. The peak threat window extends from 7 p.m. Tuesday all the way through 3 a.m. Wednesday. That means millions of people will be asleep when the most powerful storms roll through. You cannot see a tornado at night. You cannot hear a warning if your phone is on silent. You need a weather radio, phone alerts turned on, or another reliable way to get warnings that will physically wake you up. Now let me shift south because Texas is not getting a free pass either. From Dallas and Fort Worth down through Abilene, San Angelo, and all the way to Del Rio near the Mexican border, supercells will fire up Tuesday afternoon. The primary threat here is giant hail. We are talking baseball-size hail possible across central and north Texas. Some models suggest hail could exceed 4 inches in diameter. That will go through a car windshield. That will destroy a roof. A couple of tornadoes are also possible between Dallas and San Angelo, though the tornado probability sits around 5% compared to 10% up in Illinois. Now here is where I deliver on that promise. Let me break this down region by region with specific timing. Texas. Storms begin firing between 1 p.m. and 3 p.m. Central Time Tuesday. Peak severity hits between 4 p.m. and 8 p.m. The main threats are giant hail and isolated tornadoes. Cities at highest risk include Dallas, Fort Worth, Abilene, San Angelo, Waco, Del Rio, Midland, and Odessa. Storms taper off after midnight, central Illinois and Indiana. The first supercells develop between 3 p.m. and 5 p.m. Central Time Tuesday. The peak danger window is 4 p.m. to 7 p.m., then escalates into a dangerous overnight event lasting until 3 a.m. Wednesday. Cities in the direct path include Peoria, Bloomington, Springfield, Champaign, Decatur, Joliet, Kankakee, Danville, Lafayette, Logansport, Kokomo, and Muncie in Indiana. Chicago's southern suburbs are also at risk, particularly after 8 p.m. Missouri and the St. Louis metro. Storms develop between 5 p.m. and 8 p.m. Tuesday. St. Louis, Columbia, Jefferson City, and Hannibal should prepare for damaging winds and possible tornadoes through midnight. Now here is the plot twist nobody expected. Wednesday is not the cool-down day. Wednesday might actually affect more people than Tuesday. By Wednesday morning, a sweeping cold front crashes into the warm, moist air mass still parked over the Ohio and Mississippi River valleys. This produces a massive squall line stretching from Pittsburgh all the way down to the Gulf Coast. Damaging straight-line winds become the primary threat. We are talking 60 to 80 mile-per-hour wind gusts capable of downing trees, flipping trailers, and knocking out power for days. Wednesday timing breaks down like this. Storms already ongoing by Wednesday morning across the lower Mississippi Valley. Memphis, Nashville, and Jackson, Mississippi see the worst between 6 a.m. and noon. The line pushes east through the afternoon. Cincinnati, Louisville, Lexington, and Columbus, Ohio get hit between noon and 6 p.m. Pittsburgh, Charleston, and West Virginia, and the western Appalachian foothills see storms between 3 p.m. and 9 p.m. Cleveland, Akron, and Youngstown should prepare for late afternoon through the evening hours, and do not count out tornadoes on Wednesday. The northern corridor through Ohio, Pennsylvania, and West Virginia shows enhanced spin. An embedded tornado or a rogue supercell racing ahead of the squall line is absolutely possible. The warm sector remains wide enough to support rotation even on day 2 of this outbreak. Now let me expand this even further. Monday evening tonight, there is already a level 2 out of 5 risk across parts of the Deep South. Little Rock, Birmingham, Montgomery, Meridian, Tupelo, and Tuscaloosa all face threats of large hail, damaging winds, and isolated tornadoes through midnight. A mesoscale convective system is tracking through northern Alabama and could reach the Atlanta metro area before falling apart around 2 a.m. And looking ahead to Thursday, the system is not done. As it exits through the Appalachians, there could be another round of severe weather pushing into the Carolinas, the coastal mid-Atlantic, and even the Florida Panhandle. Charlotte, Columbia, South Carolina, Raleigh, Norfolk, and Virginia Beach could all see storms Thursday afternoon if the system retains enough energy. After all of this clears out, a dramatic pattern shift arrives. Temperatures that were in the 70s and 80s will crash. By Friday and Saturday, a clipper system drops snow across the Great Lakes and the Northeast. Northern Wisconsin, the Upper Peninsula of Michigan, and the interior Northeast could see significant snowfall, and then early next week, an even more powerful system dives south, potentially bringing blizzard conditions to parts of the Midwest and well below average temperatures locking in across the eastern half of the country. We are going from record summer heat to winter in less than a week. Let me recap what matters most. If you are in Illinois, Indiana, or Central Texas, tomorrow is your day to prepare. Charge your devices tonight. Identify your safe room. Make sure every person in your household knows where to go if a tornado warning sounds at 2 a.m. If you are in the Ohio Valley, the Mid-South, or the Appalachian region, Wednesday is your day. Same preparation, same urgency. Flash flooding is also a concern, particularly from Missouri through Kentucky and into southern Illinois and Indiana, where the ground is already saturated from recent rains. Multiple rounds of storms over the same areas could dump several inches in just a few hours. Pay attention to flash flood warnings just as seriously as tornado warnings. Water kills more people in severe weather events than tornadoes do. This is not about fear. This is about being ready. The people who survive severe weather are not the luckiest. They are the most prepared. Drop your city in the comments right now. I want to make sure every single person watching this gets the information they need for their specific location. Share this with someone in the affected areas. One share could literally save a life. And stay tuned, because I am tracking that late week system closely. The snow and cold air surge could be significant, and there are some wild model solutions I am not ready to reveal just yet. That breakdown is coming in the next video, and trust me, you are going to want to see those numbers. Hit subscribe so you do not miss it. Stay safe out there. I will see you.